on, we're running, here we go. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I am starting 2026 off on the best note ever, and that is by starting my very own booktube. I have attempted this in the past. My heart wasn't in it. So if you are new here, my name is Kirsten, and as you can tell, I really like books. I am somebody who fixates on a hobby, and when I fixate on something, I go all out. I have no chill about things, as you can see. Let's get into what today's video is all about. We are going to be talking about our 2026 reading goals, and then we're also going to be talking about my January TBR, which I am so excited about because it is the start of my new For the Joy of Reading book club that I am going to be running in Patreon this year. I have done it in the past year, actually over a year, on Instagram only, but the book group, which was formerly known as the Book Bingo Brigade, is getting a little bit of a facelift. If you have been on any of my other socials, you would know that my big thing is I love community. I love making connections with other like-minded, bookish people. We're just here to read books. We're here for the vibes. I don't care what you like to read, as long as you're reading and you're finding joy in it. So when I started my book bingo club, I basically created these fun little prompt cards, and me and a group of ladies would basically go through the challenge card together. It was so fun to see what books we all came up with for all of the different prompts. We got so many book recs from each other. We became bookish friends on Instagram, and I'm excited to elevate this club over on my Patreon, like I said, giving it a little bit of a facelift and a little bit of a change. So if you're interested in those details, I have put them all in the caption below. But let's get into what my goals are for 2026 when it comes to reading. Okay, so this is probably, I would say, like year 3 or 4 of me being like really fixated on books and just finding joy in all forms of reading. I started when I had my first son, and I exclusively pumped for both of my kids, actually. So that meant there was a lot of time sitting, because if I wasn't feeding him a bottle, I was sitting and pumping. I slowly started to buy some more physical books as the boys kind of became more independent, and then buying 1 or 2 books a year turned into my TBR becoming extremely out of control. Now it's just my personality. Books are my personality. If you can't tell by the shirt that I'm wearing, I live and breathe books, you guys. That's all I have time for. I'm running around after kids, trying to keep my 2 sons alive, getting them to all of their sports activity, and trying to keep on top of the never-ending piles of laundry that I have going on in my house. And never mind trying to keep this house tidy and clean. We just ignore and put our noses in the books. But now that I've been in this space for a while, I've gone through that stage of like panic. I don't have a library. I need to buy 1 million books and to be just like all of the booktubers out there. And oh, someone said this book is really good, so I need to put these books aside because this is the trending book that's going on right now. I've realized I need to rein it back a little bit, because reading all of a sudden became a little bit overwhelming at one point in 2025 for whatever reason. And I don't want that to be a thing. Sorry, my husband just texted me. He forgot to put the lasagna away. We will do that after this video. But anyways, I just want to get back into being more intentional about the books that I read, the books that I buy, the people that I am spending energy on, especially on this social media space, because the world is crazy. It's very crazy, and honestly, to get rid of to escape the crazy, I prefer spending my time with fictional crazy. If you know, you know. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what my goals are for 2026. I would like to try and read 100 books. It is still technically 2025 right now. I am at 132 books. I thought, oh, maybe I should set my goal really high, My goal this year in 2025 was to read 80 books. So obviously I blew past that. And I thought, well, I'm already at like 130. So should I make it like higher? But you guys, I have read every single day this year in 2025. That's a lot of reading. I literally have not skipped a day, and I won't skip a day. Like, I'm gonna make it all the way through the rest of this year reading a book every day, which I think is so cool. But I want to make time and space for some other hobbies in my life, like this possibly. And I know that's going to mean some evenings can't be dedicated to books. They're probably going to be needed to dedicate to something else. So that's why I set my reading goal at 100 books, because I feel like that's a good number. Next on my goal list is to be more mindful about the books that I buy, because I am someone who loves a deal. So Book Outlet has basically become my kryptonite, and because of that, I have too many books on my shelf, and some of them that I don't even know if I'm going to ever want to read again, because I've kind of, as the year has gone by, my reading taste has really changed. It's really grown. So I feel like I need to be a lot more mindful about the books that I purchase. Next, and I used to never be like this, you guys, okay? When I started a series, I would hammer through it until the bitter end. I was not someone who would take breaks. I'm like, no, I am in this world. I have a crappy enough memory as it is, so I need to just power through. I did that with Throne of Glass. I did that with Zodiac Academy. And then all of a sudden I was burnt out. So in 2025, I started a stupid amount of series and have yet to finish them. Other series that are finished, I have all the books on my shelf, but I've only read like book 1, and then I haven't moved on. Even though I feel like I know I'm gonna like the series, for some reason, I just did not do that. So my goal for this coming year is to actually complete some of these series and work through them and not put such big breaks in between the books that I'm reading in the series. My next is to share my reading experience with others, which basically means I want to give booktube a real hard try. Do I feel silly doing this? Yes. Very sensitive, and just like the outside world knowing that this is something that I do kind of gives me the EBGBs, and people are mean. So if you have not something nice to say, then don't say anything at all. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna let that hold me back. Basically, we're just gonna give this whole book influencer thing a really hard go this year. Okay, this next one, and I have been getting a little bit better at this, is not to be scared to DNF a book or to soft DNF a book, because I am somewhat of I'm a mood reader, and sometimes if I pick up a book and I'm like, okay, well, this had something to do with a TBR prompt or a whatever, but I'm just not in the mood. I don't want to have to drag my feet through a book. So knowing that this is a book that I feel like I will like, but just not right now. You know what I mean? So being able to soft DNF something, not getting rid of it totally, just saving it for another time. And lastly, I want to give a little bit more time for some cozy hobbies that pair really well with reading. One of the things that I actually started this year was making pom-poms, pom-pom crafts. I followed this old lady on TikTok, and let me tell you, just listening to her and watch her make cute pom-pom decor and fun things like that was like, I need to do that in my life. And I actually find it very relaxing. But when you're reading a physical book, you have that like, should I be spending my time reading because I have so few hours in the day to read being a mom, or do I do a craft? You know what I mean? So I want to try and put the books down a little bit more, which seems so silly because I'm trying to become a book content creator, but spend a little bit more time also with other hobbies that bring me love and joy. So those are my goals for 2026. But now let's get to the exciting part of this video, which is to pick my January TBR. So how my book group is going to be working in the Patreon is not too different from what I have done in the past on Instagram. This time it's going to be monthly. So every month I am going to have a bit of a theme going on. There will be 4 prompts that we have to pick from as a group. You get to pick your TBR based off of those themed 4 prompts for that month. Then we will also have a group choice, which is optional in the book group, but something that I always encourage my ladies to do alongside with us, so that we do have at least one book that we're all reading together and we can chat about. And then I am going to be choosing from an old TBR jar that I have. And then I'm going to be leaving space for a bit of a mood read also, because that's one of the things that I found in 2025 is that I really struggled with only sticking to a super strict TBR with just the prompts that I picked, and then me all of a sudden not being in the mood to pick up one of the books that I chose for my planned out TBR, and then feeling like I couldn't pick up those books. So I feel like that was very silly of me. So that's why I'm only doing 4 prompts for the book club group and then the group choice. And then the other books that I will get to for the month, one will be for my TBR jar and the rest will just be fun little mood reads. Here is a look at this month's card. It is all about a fresh start to our reading year. New year, new stories. The first prompt on the card is to pick a book by a new to you author. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull a few books from my bookshelf as some options for me to pick from. Okay, so I've grabbed my 2 books for that option. The first one being Heavenly Bodies by Imani Aru. Everyone is saying this is like true romantasy, absolutely amazing. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a warning here. My memory is not the best when it comes to remembering what I've read in a book, what people have said about a book. Honestly, my kids stole most of my brain power when they came out of my womb, and I'm just surviving, really. And that's all I'm gonna say. So sometimes I don't have a lot of context behind books other than the vibe sounds like something that I would love, and this definitely sounds like the vibes that I would love. On the back, it says, in a world ruled by the cruel and merciless stars, Alara has been cursed by fate. A prophecy promises she will fall for a star, but that it will kill them both. I love anything to do with kind of astrology, fantasy magic like that. From what I've seen from other people, there is 2 books out right now. This is book 1. We have book 2 out that just recently came out, and then there will be a book 3 near the end of 2026, and they each kind of follow some different sets of characters, it sounds like. So this is definitely high on my list of new authors that I want to read this year. Next we have We Who Will Die by Stasia Stark. I'm also really not good at pronouncing names, so if I butcher a name, sorry. I do my best. This one came in my book of the month box. I love like the old Roman Empire, gods, goddesses, that kind of world. And I haven't read very many books like that, even though I have lots on my shelf. I just haven't got to them. On the back it says, surviving the arena, save my brothers and kill the emperor. 2 vampires stand between me and my mission. One who shattered my heart, one who torments me at court. Let the games begin. So I know there's trials, it's like high stakes, and who doesn't like vampires? And I actually really love the cover of this book. This is really hard for me to pick, but I feel like I want to go with Heavenly Bodies because I feel like the cover is giving January. The fact that book 2 is out, and if I absolutely love this and feel like I need to pick up the next book, I can, because I also have that one on my shelf. So this is the first book that we are picking for our January challenge. The next prompt on the card says, a book you've owned but never read. The options, you guys, the options are endless. I started putting my physical TBR into Fable, and then when I realized that like the groups or whatever, or the lists only go up to 75, and I was starting to work on like my 3rd list of physical TBR books, that's when I knew I had a problem. I have a lot of books to pick from, so please hold and I'll find a book that I've owned but never read. Hey guys, I am being good and sticking to what I said that I would do this year, was to actually complete some of the series that I have started but have not finished. So 2 of those series, and I am determined, you guys, to get these series finished before the end of 2026 is the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. I have read Guild, and I actually really like. It wasn't the best book in the world. It's a book that sets up a series that is like, how many books is in the series? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 books in this series, you guys. So not everything can happen in the first book. My option is Glint, which is book 2 in that series, or Rule of the Aurora King by Nisha J. Tooley. I read Trial of the Sun Queen last year. I actually listened to it because it's free on Audible. And I thought, how convenient is that? From what I remember about this book, or the first book anyways, was that it was like The Bachelorette meets Fae world. So we have our female main character who was kind of like a prisoner, street rat, came from the lower end. She was pulled out of that, put into this bachelorette competition to try and win the heart of the king. Ending of that book was pretty epic, and it also sets up for a very interesting story. I feel like that one I read so long ago that I'm just not as connected to the characters in that one, obviously because it was so long ago. So I feel like I'm just more tempted to really dive into this series because I know it's gonna take me probably the whole year to eventually get through it. For this second prompt choice, we are gonna go with Glint. So this is kind of cool. This is a clean slate book. So either the characters in this one need to be starting a new job, maybe moving to a new town, or having some form of a fresh start, because that's how everyone likes to start their new year. So this one's gonna take a little bit of perusing to figure out, so hold please. Okay, so for this prompt I went with contemporary romance because I feel like when we dive into fantasy, it's only fair that we give ourselves a little bit of a palate cleanse with something light and fluffy. So these are the 2 choices that I picked for that prompt. First is Caught Up by Liz Top 40. Everybody says that this is the book where they truly fell in love with this series. And honestly, anything with a single dad in it, I'm a sucker for it. We have Kai, who is the single dad starting pitcher. He has a son, no, not a son, his daughter, who he needs a nanny for. Then we have Miller, who something to do with her being a chef, but that not working out. So then her dad convinces her to start a new job as a nanny while she waits for something to do with her chef job. This is option 1. Option 2 is Rebecca Yarrow's Wilder. So this one is on the back. It says, after 2 lost years, I'm forcing the wake-up call on my life with a new 9-month work-study cruise. See the world, experience all of it to the fullest, and maybe, if I'm lucky, find the life I've lost. I just wish I'd known what I was signing up for. My scholarship depends on tutoring a student, but not just any student. Oh no, that would be too easy. Instead, I get Paxton Wilder, daredevil influencer, and X Games champion, and wherever he goes, documentary cameras, groupies, and high-octane stunts will follow. I want to hate him. I want to kick his arrogant ego right off this boat. But from the second we touch, my stomach does a full-on bungee jump. That had me there. Honestly, I really love Rebecca Yarrow contemporary romances that she's done. Not only I think did she hit it out of the park with her Fourth Wing series, but she also does a really good job with contemporary romance. This is actually a really hard choice, but I feel like I really want to see what all the hype is about with this book. See if I need to go ahead and buy the rest of the series, because I've read book 1 and book 2. Didn't really like book 1 all that much. Book 2 was a little bit better, but not amazing. So I'm really hoping that Caught Up is going to make that series a little bit better. Okay, so our final challenge prompt that I'll be doing with my club is a short book. So a book that is under 300 pages, which I think is really nice, especially when you're starting out the new year and life is stressful and sometimes time gets away from you. So being able to read a short book is something nice that I thought I would give people to start the year off. Again, this is going to take a little bit of perusing because I have a lot of books, but finding one that's under 300 pages, that's probably going to be the hardest part. I didn't have a lot of options on my shelf. Obviously, I probably could have looked in my Kindle, but my goal is to try and get some of the physical books on my shelf read. These two books are books that I'm not too sure if they and the rest of their series will be sticking on my shelves, but I'll show them to you anyways. So first we have Vow of Revenge, The Mafia Academy by P. Rain. So obviously this is a Mafia Academy dark romance set at a boarding school for the sons and daughters of the most powerful mafia lord, Maribel La Rosa. When my father arranges for me to marry the heir to the Costa crime family, I swore I'd do anything to escape that fate. I have more to offer than being some man's arm candy and producing heirs. Marcelo Costa might be my fiance, but he'll never be my husband. The look of shock on my fiance's face when I walked into the classroom pleases me more than it should. Marabella made it clear she didn't want to marry me, but at the moment I have a bigger issue on my hands. Revenge on whoever killed my father. Once I ready out my own particular brand of justice, I'll remove Mirabella from campus and make her my wife. And no amount of pleading on her part will change my mind. So this will either be one of those mafia romances that you're like, this is good, or you're like, what am I reading right now? So that's option one. The next option is Sophie Lark's There Are No Saints. I tried to read her, what was the series even called? Brutal Birthright, and I couldn't even make it through 30% of that first book. So that was immediately DNF'd and hightailed off of my shelf. Again, I bought this series when I was going through that phase on Book Outlet where I was like, the books are so cheap and I just want to buy them all. Really before knowing who I am and what I really enjoy as a reader. So let's see what this one has to say on the back. She knows he's no saint, but she has no idea she's dancing with the devil. Cole Blackwell values control. He's the hottest sculptor in San Francisco, wealthy, successful, and respected. His only weakness is the dark impulse he carefully conceals. In truth, he's not just an artist. He's a predator and the city is his hunting ground. Oh God. Mara Eldridge is a nobody. Broken damaged, she works 3 jobs while creating paintings no one will ever see. When a chance encounter throws Mara into Cole's path, her escape from certain death fascinates Cole. More than that, it fixates him. He begins stalking her, discovering there's more to the struggle misfit than he would have guessed. She makes him feel things he never thought he could feel, want things he thought he'd never want. He doesn't know if he should protect her at all costs or destroy her before she ruins him. He's losing control, breaking the rules that have kept his true name hidden from the world. Mara knows he's dangerous, but Cole is the only person who's ever recognized her talent, and it leads her heart astray, straight into darkness. Cole can teach her to get what she wants, but what might this vicious killer want in return? Both of these books are very much like they could swing either way. I don't think they're going to be 5-star reads. They might not even be 4-star reads, but they are on my shelf and I bought them with my own money. So I need to at least try them and see if I like them. But I feel like I'm leaning more towards this one because I do love anything to do with like dark academia and with the twist of it being also a mafia twist on it. Sounds very intriguing. So we're going to be adding Vow of Vengeance by P. Rain to our book, which is under 300 pages. Okay, so those are the prompts, obviously, for the book clubs challenge. We will be voting on our group choice for the month as well. But now I'm going to go ahead and pick one book from my TBR jar. Hey guys, this is really embarrassing, but I have no idea where my old TBR jar went. It's a good thing I'm going to be making a new one because she's all of a sudden sprouted legs and has disappeared. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and head over to ChatGPT and we're just going to ask her to come up with a reading prompt for me. So can you come up with one random TBR prompt? She's honestly my best friend. You're someone like me who has a really hard time like concising their thoughts, if that even makes sense. This app really helps. Okay, pick a book you've been saving for the perfect time. What a good prompt. I feel like she's gonna help me pick some of my prompts to add to my TBR jar when I go ahead and make my new one. Let me go pick a few books that I've been saving for that perfect time. Okay, you guys, I have two doozies in my hand here, and I've been putting them off. One, because I've read books from these authors before and they are like god tier for me. And then the other one I've put off because there was just so many mixed reviews on it. People either love it or they hate it. And that's why the bookish space is fun, but it can also be toxic because it influences your experience over a book before you've even read it. And I feel like that is what has happened with that particular book. First book that I talked about, or that I was alluding to, was Never Keep by the Twisted Sisters. Zodiac Academy holds a special place in my heart. Honestly, I am a Darcy and Lance fan from like the get-go. Honestly, I loved them so much in that series. And I just love that, the entire vibes of that series, okay? And I know Never Keep is in the same world as Zodiac Academy and all of those books, but totally different characters. This takes place at a war college, so I also love that school academic space and war college. So this is a contender there. And then next, the one I talked about is When the Moon Hatched. People either love this one or hate this. So I feel like, again, this is one that I was influenced before I even read the book, whether or not I was going to like it or not. But I feel like I'm going to pick this one because she has been on my shelf the longest, and I know book 2 is coming out in 2026. So I think it is time that we finally read When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Sorry for the camera angle change, but of course my battery died. I feel like I'm a real booktuber now because I could say that. That I filmed for so long that my camera video dies right at the very end when I'm trying to do my outro. But here is a look at January's lineup of reading. I'm very excited. We have a good range of books. Obviously, we have our book club challenge prompts out of these 4 books. Then we have the TBR pick. We will be adding obviously the group choice to this pile once it is picked by the ladies. And then I just get the opportunity to mood read for the rest of the month. So I'm really excited to see whether or not I enjoy this setup with giving myself a little bit of freedom in the month to be able to just pick up whatever book I want, as well as setting myself a TBR, because I am nothing if not a type AB girly, which means I love a good plan, but I also love to deviate from the plan and do what I want with my free will. So we'll be very interested to see how we do with this TBR. If you are not already doing so, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel to see more future videos. I'm super excited to see where this journey is going to take me here on BookTube. Please make sure you comment below with some of your book goals for 2026, what books you are looking forward to this year, what books you have going on in your January TBR. And if you have questions about what my For the Joy of Reading Patreon book club is all about, I will answer them in the comments below as well. And I hope you guys have the best day ever.